Kwon Ji-hun was the only man in Incheon who could order a hit over espresso and then calculate the exact trajectory of a bullet in his head. Yet he was currently being defeated by a piece of rusted chain and a squeaky kickstand.
You are a monster, Ji-hun.
His father's voice had rumbled that morning, punctuating each word with the heavy thud of a ring against a mahogany desk. But you are a monster who cannot read a balance sheet. In the corporate world, they don't use silencers, they use contracts. You will go to college. You will get this degree. And if I find out you've used your name to pass a single test, I will strip you of the syndicate and leave you with nothing but the clothes on your back. Which was exactly how Ji-hun found himself standing in the parking lot of the University of Incheon's business college, looking like a discarded extra from a K-drama about academic failure. He was draped in an oversized, faded hoodie that smelled faintly of cheap laundry detergent, a far cry from the crisp citrus and expensive leather that usually defined his presence. He adjusted his wire-rimmed glasses, which kept sliding down his nose, and glared at his transport. A bicycle that looked like it had been salvaged from the bottom of the Han River. He was desperately trying to coax the kickstand into staying up, when a sound like a localized thunderstorm tore through the morning air. It wasn't just a motor. It was a scream of pure, unadulterated horsepower. A Kawasaki Ninja H2, blacker than a blackout. Slid into the spot directly beside his rusted frame with the grace of a predatory cat. The rider swung a leg over the seat, clad in a sleek biker's jacket that looked like it cost more than his entire civilian wardrobe. As she pulled off her helmet, she flung her hair back in a wild, beautiful mane that seemed to catch the morning light and defy gravity. Ji-hun's unassuming student mask almost shattered. Alina Bennett was a wonder to behold, skin the color of rich espresso, and eyes that were sharp and lively. She caught him staring. Ji-hun quickly dropped his gaze, fumbling with his rusty lock and playing the part of the shy, awkward nerd. Is that the supercharged model? Ji-hun asked, his voice cracking slightly on purpose. He looked at the bike, then at his own rusted handlebars, then back at her. I think my bike just felt an ego bruise. Alina laughed, a rich, melodic sound that hit him harder than a physical blow. She leaned against the seat, looking him up and down with an amused smirk. It's a lot of machine. Does your bike have a name, or is squeaky sufficient? It responds to please don't break, Ji-hun replied, offering a timid, awkward smile.
I'm Alina.
Ji-hun.
And don't worry, Squeaky has character. Ji-hun, he muttered, shaking her hand. The contact was a mistake. His hand was supposed to be limp, but his fingers instinctively found the pulse point at her wrist, a habit of a man who needed to know if someone was lying. She felt a jolt, her eyes widening as she caught a flicker of something dark and ancient behind his glasses. It wasn't a nerd she was looking at. For half a second, she felt like she was looking into the eyes of a storm. The rest of the morning was a blur of mental static. In his macroeconomics lecture, Ji-hun stared at a supply and demand curve, but all he saw was the curve of Alina's smile and the way she flung her hair. He found himself sketching the trellis frame of her bike in the margins of his notebook, his mind flashing back to the scent of vanilla and high-octane fuel that followed her. He was a professional at hiding, but his focus was slipping. Across the college, in a sun-drenched studio, Alina's charcoal pencil went still. She was supposed to be designing a floor plan, but she kept thinking about the nerdy guy's eyes. They didn't match his hoodie. They didn't match his rusty bike. They were the eyes of someone who knew exactly how to break things. By late afternoon, the heat of Incheon hung heavy over the lot. Ji-hoon walked back to his bicycle, his shoulders slumped in his ghost persona. He stopped dead. The space next to him was empty. The Kawasaki was gone. He stood there perfectly still. He didn't check his phone, but he felt a strange, cold void where that roar of an engine should have been. "Out of the way, Four Eyes!" A group of rowdy students shoved past him, one of them intentionally kicking the tire of his bicycle. Ji-hoon stumbled slightly, his glasses lopsided. He didn't say a word, but behind his back, his hand clenched into a fist so tight his knuckles sounded like dry branches snapping. The horrible man, the boss who had once leveled a warehouse over a missed shipment, was screaming to be let out. He wanted to turn around and show them exactly what happened when you touched a king. Instead, he slowly exhaled, pushed his glasses back up, and climbed onto his squeaky bike. As he pedaled away, 2 black SUVs with tinted windows glided into the lane behind him, trailing the bicycle at a distance. He looked like a loser, but the sharks were still patrolling the waters.